What's up, guys? Welcome back to today's episode of Relationship Talk Unfiltered podcast. I'm super excited. And if you're joining me for the first time, my name is Prophet Eneh, and I am your favorite relationship coach. You cannot doubt me. You cannot doubt me. You know I'm your favorite relationship coach. So today we are continuing with our series on things that people, men, women prioritize when choosing a life partner. And today, remember, like I said, I'll be talking about things I think every one of us, both male and female, should prioritize when choosing a life partner. So if you have not watched the previous episodes where I talked about what men prioritize, what women prioritize, please do watch it after you must have watched this. So the order doesn't matter. The point is that you get to watch every one of it so that you learn. If you're a man, you get to learn what women prioritize. If you're a woman, you get to learn what men prioritize. You work it around your life, you get things working, and you know how we do it. You keep going. So, but today we're talking about things everybody should prioritize. And I think if you're a Christian, this is very important for you because we're going to be looking at this from how it affects your life. Because, like I normally say, this life is very spiritual. Your relationship, your marriage, it is as spiritual as it gets, it's as physical as it gets. So you need to ensure that you are prioritizing the last thing. So this one is for everybody, both male and female. So we are talking about what every individual should prioritize when choosing a life partner. So before we go into today's video, I would like to encourage you, you know how we do it. Go ahead, go to my YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see the subscribe button down there. Hit the subscribe button and also click the notification bell so that you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. Share this video with your friends, share it with your frenemies, share it with your enemies. Also go over to my podcast platform, Spotify, Anchor platform. You can also get this in Apple Podcasts. Go ahead and subscribe, and whichever you feel more comfortable to do, the ball is on your court. So I just want to go ahead and get into this video, and my body is hot because I need to share this juicy information with you. So, like I said earlier, prioritize things you prioritize when you are choosing a life partner is very, very important. There are things that that should be on the top of your list, while there are things that should be below your list. But the problem we have in our society today is that a lot of people prioritize the wrong things. And when you prioritize the wrong things, you end up having issues in your marriage or in your relationship, because whatever you give priority to will dominate your relationship. It's so most men go out there and they prioritize the shape of the woman, how her backside is, how her front side is, and that's what's on their head. You see how they run with it. There's a Nigerian term for it, nyash. They will pursuing it. That's where their focus is on. They are just doing like Sabinus, very focused on pursuing those things. But the problem is that by the time they get this young lady, you discover that this young lady is not going to improve your life in any way. That's where she has packed all her sense into. And then you discover that you're already having issues in your relationship. Communication, she cannot communicate. Help you grow, she cannot help you. But because that's what we are focusing on, that's what you got at the end of the day. Because relationship at the end of the day is garbage in, garbage out. So, and for women, it's the man that has the biggest money, making six figure, like we talked about. You're just pursuing, that's your focus. You don't want to really be in a broke relationship or marriage and all those stuff. And you're just focusing on that. And at the end of the day, you get into marriage and you discover that a rich man can be rich and you have all the whole money in the world, but you are still very frustrated in the marriage. One thing about this thing is that because you have not entered it, there are some things you feel like they are important. But when you now enter it, you see that there are things that are more important than what you thought were important. So that's why I'm bringing this video to us, because I know that, yes, the society, what we talked about in the last two episodes is about what societal standards or what society has made people to believe. Now we want to look at it from the biblical standard, from the person that actually design the whole marriage thing from God's perspective. And when you start prioritizing what you're looking for from the God's perspective, then you stand a very, very good chance of getting it right in your relationship and in your marriage. So how did they say that thing again? Is it with no further ado, I'll be what? Let's jump in into what we're talking about today. So, the first thing that I believe that you should prioritize as a Christian or even somebody from any other faiths is the person that you want to date. What is their faith? And when I say what is their faith, I'm talking about, do they have the fear of God? You know, one thing about talking about when it comes about all this our Christian thing, like you ask a lady, what are you looking for in a man? They'll tell you a God-fearing man, or they'll tell you a Christian. The problem about it is that most times people don't even know what it means to be a God-fearing person. Most people equate God-fearing from a Christian perspective. They equate it to going to church, being in church, attending church. No, that's not what it means to be God-fearing. The problem I've seen is that most people don't understand that the concept of church is that the church is a hospital. The church is where everybody, both the good, the bad, the ugly, come to be redeemed, to be taught the word of God. That's what the church is. So if you're coming into the church to see a perfect person, then you are already in error. Because what you will see in the church is mostly imperfections, because we are broken people. So we are, and when you go to the hospital, you don't necessarily see healthy people per se. When you go to the hospital, you see sick people trying to get healed, trying to get saved. So that's what the church is like. So the church is a spiritual hospital, just like we have a physical hospital where people go to get healed. So, and when you hear a God-fearing man or a God-fearing woman, even people today, they will tell you man of God, and that's what they're looking for. See, who is a man of God or who is a woman of God? A man of God or a woman of God is that person who has a personal relationship with God. And what does it mean to have a personal relationship with God? Having a personal relationship with God means that this person is no longer living by the worldly standards. They are no longer living the way they want to. This person is living the way Christ has asked us to live. Their life is being guided or being led by the Holy Spirit. The Bible said that those who are led by the Holy Spirit are the sons of God. The Bible said that those who follow the will of the Father, those who keep the will of the Father, they are those that will meet him in heaven. So if you are looking for a man of God, if you're looking for a woman of God, somebody who has a relationship with God, you should be looking for somebody who is sold out to God. Sold out to God in the sense that Galatians chapter 2:20 says, and Paul was saying that I have been crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, not I, but Christ that lives in me. And this life I live now is no longer my own. So everything I do according to the will of God. So if you really are looking for a man of God, you should be looking for somebody who no longer do you. That's why I normally tell people I have an issue with do you mentality. They will tell you, babe, do you, do what works for you, babe, do you, live your life, don't allow anybody to tell you what to do, blah blah blah. The problem is that concept is from the devil. The devil is the one that wants you to do you, because the truth is that your body, your flesh, is corrupt. And the Bible already specifically said, I'll put the scripture, the Bible already specifically said that there is a battle that is going on between the flesh and the spirit. And you as a person, you are a spirit, you have a soul, and you live in a body. So your body, which is the flesh, is accustomed to the things of this world. That's why most times the battle you have when it comes to lust, sex, and all those stuff, it's the battle between the spirit and the body. Your body wants that pleasure by all means, but your spirit doesn't want it. So it's more of like a battle of the spirit and the body. And eventually, most of the time, the body wins. The body wins, you give in and you fail. You get what I'm saying? So a man of God is somebody who has a relationship with God, is somebody who has given up on self. They have dealt with self. It's no longer about them. The life they are living is no longer about them. So that means they are following the will of God. They are following the instruction of God. If God says go this way, that's where they are going to. They don't try to interpret the Bible to suit what they want to do. They read the Bible the way it should be. Because that's that's the new thing that is happening in our generation today. People pick the Bible, they look at it, they find the one that suits them, they run with it. The one that criticizes or convicts them, they find a way to twist it so that it will suit their what they want to do, and then they run with it. No, that's not the kind of Christian you're looking for. You're looking for a Christian who is sold out to God. So if you want to prioritize somebody that is of the same faith, a man of God, a woman of God. And also, the Bible already told us that we should not be equally yoked together with an unbeliever. I know this is not the first time you're hearing this. I know there are some of you out there that believe that, well, I can get married to them and then convert them. Here, see, let me tell you the truth. You don't have monopoly of change. You don't have monopoly to change people, because the truth is that that person, that guy or that lady that you want to date and convert is also planning to convert you. Just imagine you are a Muslim and the other person is a Christian or whatever, and you people are the Muslim guy or the Muslim lady is planning to convert you to become a Muslim, and the Christian person is also trying to convert the Muslim person to become a Christian. You see, now you people go into there planning to convert each other. So you don't have monopoly to change people, because that's a very wrong mindset some Christians have. They believe that they can convert that person. No. And they always reference this passage of the Bible where the Bible says, if you are with an unmarried, if you are with an unbeliever, that you should stay. Maybe your character and your way of life will change them. That passage, I've read it, and one thing I got from it is that thing is not talking about people who actually are about getting married. It's talking about people who are already married. So most times it's about people who probably got married as unbelievers, two unbelievers who got married, and maybe one found Christ when they are married. So he's not trying to say, since you're already married, you're already into the marriage covenant, now you have to stay in the marriage. And hopefully your character, your good deeds and everything will help them. So sometimes we should try as much as possible not to run with the way out. What I mean by the way out is that there is already a plan. This is the will. This is where God wants you to go. And you shouldn't leave the right way to go and then look for the damage control. It's just like when God tried to tell somebody, okay, go this way, and the person refused to go that way. Then maybe at the end, somewhere in between, something happened, and God is now trying to make a way out. Because you are his child, he's now trying to make a way out for the person. Okay, follow this way, since you already made this mistake, or follow this way so that you can go back into the right track. Some of you want to go and start from that way God is making for somebody else to get out of the bad situation they're already in, while there is already an established track for you to go through. It's just like Jonah. God told him, go to Nineveh. He said no. He went and entered ship, and the ship almost capsized inside the water. He almost drowned, and God now used the shark to now do what's it called again, submarine for Job, and dropped him off Nineveh. Some of you want to use the submarine, the ship, the fish, instead of going through the boat to Nineveh or to where God is telling you to go. You want to use the boat, the submarine, the fish. Let's learn to follow God's original plan and not trying to follow the path he made for others to get out of their mistake. That's what I'm saying. So if you're looking for a God-fearing man, find somebody in the same faith. Find somebody who you can pray together with, worship with, serve God with. That's your first priority. Because the truth of the matter is that if both of you are Christian who are sold out to God, it becomes easier. The Bible said threefold cord that cannot be broken. What I personally get from that passage is you, your spouse, and God. And it cannot be easily broken. But if one of you is doing something else, is not from your faith, and you're from the faith, how do you want to add God in the midst? It's not going to work. So that should be your first priority. Somebody who is in line in this of the same faith with you. That's why I personally, like I say it, if you're a Christian, marry a Christian. If you're a Muslim, marry a Muslim. If you're a traditionalist, marry a traditionalist. If you're a Buddhist, marry a Buddhist or Buddha. I don't know what they call them, but then wherever you're coming from, go for that same person. It makes life easy for you. It makes life easy for you than complicating this thing, because at the end of the day, it's not even just about you people. It boils down to also your relationship with your children grow up, they are confused. They don't know if they should follow their father's faith or their mother's faith. They are just confused. Because, for example, Islam might say, this is good, do it. And Christianity is telling you, don't do it, it's not good. How do you want to reconcile those two things if you actually believe in God, in the God you are serving? So don't allow yourself to get entangled in religious issues in marriage. You can solve that by looking for somebody of the same faiths. Shikina. It's that easy. But would you guys listen to me right now? So another thing you need to prioritize when you are looking for a wife or a husband is the fruits that they are manifesting. The fruit of the spirits that they are manifesting, because this is very important. I know people come out there and say love is not enough and all those stuff. But like I always say, if you have not watched my first episode where I talked about love, you should go watch it, because it will expose what love actually means to you, and you get it very well. But now I want to talk about the fruit of the spirit. Galatians chapter, is it 5 verse 20? It was talking about love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, self-control. These are the fruit of the spirit. You need to watch whoever you want to date. This should be a priority. Look at this fruit of the spirit and look at the person you want to date or the person you want to get married to, and see how they manifest these fruits. Love, joy, peace, patience, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Watch how they manifest this. Because a person who doesn't have self-control will make you, oh my God, especially when the person has anger issue, for example, they will hurt you. Or maybe if they are consumed by their lust, they will want to have sex with you because they don't have self-control. Somebody who is not patient, they will not be patient with you. When you are in trouble, when you need their support, they will not be able to stand by you because they're not patient enough. If they're not gentle, it's gonna be crazy. Faithfulness, they won't be faithful to you. They will sleep around, they will cheat on you. So you have to be very careful. Understand this fruit of the spirit. Live it for yourself. Like, live that life of the fruit of the spirit. Allow it to manifest in your life. Allow it to find expression in your life. Then you will be able to look for somebody who understands it too and is living by it. Because if somebody is living by the fruit of the spirit, it makes it easy for you to work with them. But the mistake is this. Here's the mistake. Most people prioritize the gift of the spirit more than the fruit of the spirit. They are two different things. Gift of the spirit, gift of prophecy, speaking in tongue, healing, all those power move spirits, the gift that the Holy Spirit gives us to perform and all those stuff. Most of you prioritize those things: evangelism, apostle, pastor. That's why you want to marry a pastor. You think pastor marrying a pastor that he's in the ushering wing, or that she is praying 5 hours a day does it. It doesn't. That somebody is doing all those things, occupying office, doesn't mean that they are for you. Because there are so many pastors who don't have self-control. There are so many evangelists who don't have love in them. They don't have gentleness in them. They are not faithful. It's just an office. It's just an office. Understand this. One thing about the Spirit of God is that God can use you to perform miracles. You get my point? He can use you to perform miracles. He can use the apostle to perform miracle. But that doesn't mean that the apostle is perfect. There are pastors who cheat on their wife. There are people who are healing the sick, but they are not faithful. So get what I'm saying? I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So don't allow the office somebody's occupying in church, the miracle that they're doing, confuse you. Because there are people who are already occupying those offices and they lack the fruit. That's why the fruit is important. So the way I say it is that the fruit of the Spirit deals with the man itself, the woman itself, the personality, who they are in Christ, who they are as a human being. And that's the kind of person you are getting married to. You're not getting married to their office. You're getting married to who they are. Because some of us out there, we prioritize what they are pursuing, what's their office and whatever. Some of you are getting married to people's office and not the people itself. I don't know how to say this so you hear it. Some people are getting married to people's calling or to people's office and not the person actually. So you want to get married to a pastor, you want to get married to an apostle because he's an usher in the church, because she sings in church. You want to get married to her. And it's that office that they are occupying in the spirit that is dragging you towards them, not the fruit that they are manifesting. Because you see somebody who sings, when they open their voice like this, it feels like the heaven have opened. But if they talk to you afterwards, you'll be wondering if this person actually just sang right now, because the kind of curse word that they are using, you'll be shocked. So try as much as possible not to allow the gifts people are manifesting to deceive you. Focus on their fruits too. What fruit are they manifesting? It will help you a lot. It will help you a lot. You understand what I'm saying? The next thing on our list is their values. Values, it's a little bit close to the fruit of the spirit, but then values is a little bit different, because values, or their core values, or core values in generally, are things that help us to make decisions in life. A person who doesn't have a core value can be swept by any wind from left to right. Most times they are double-minded. So you want to be with somebody who actually have healthy core values, because they are unhealthy core values. Yeah. And most times people don't know that they have unhealthy core values. So examples of core value could be integrity, faithfulness, health. So these are things like, for example, for me, or if I'm to use myself as an example, if I have to choose between taking maybe 100 million and being faithful to my wife, if my core value is faithfulness, truthfulness, integrity, no matter how much you want to give me, I won't cheat on my wife. You understand what I'm saying? These are your core values. Your core values help you make decisions ahead of time. They help you to stay faithful in different areas of your life. So as an individual, you need to go for somebody, you need to prioritize somebody when you are searching for a life partner who has healthy core values. And you can only find out this thing when you talk to them. Like, bring up conversation that trigger people's, not just emotion, their intellectual reasoning, their mentality, and you see what they value in life. What people value in life will tell you who they are. What people value in life will tell you who they are. And when you now discover what they value in life, it helps you to determine if this is the kind of person you want to spend the rest of your life with. So if you have a healthy core value, you should be looking for somebody else who have a healthy core value. You understand what I'm saying? So it's very, very important that you don't ignore these things, because if you ignore these things, my brother, my sister, or yours is your case, so you're on your own. Because it will stress you out. Just imagine you are in a situation where you know that God will not allow you to do this. You are going to the office and they're trying to tell you to steal money, so your colleagues and all those stuff. But you know that this is a sin. Because God is your core value, you don't want to sin. You tell them, no, I cannot do this. I have a value. I cannot do this thing with you guys. They might hate you, but then your value is already speaking for you. So that's the kind of person you want to prioritize. So go ahead, go on your own, go online, read more on core values, what they mean, how they can help you. Find out all you need to find out about core values. Then when you're searching for a life partner, search for somebody who have either similar core value or things that relate to each other, that is like relates to your own personal core values too. That way both of you can be able to navigate your relationship and your marriage. I hope that is clear. I hope I'm making sense. I hope I'm making sense. So because these things are very, very important. When you don't take them seriously, they can actually ruin your life. They can ruin your relationship. These are things I believe that they are core. If you can get these foundational things now, then you can start prioritizing all the other things that comes around you. You understand what I'm saying? So the next thing will be now their calling. I'm not talking about office right now. I'm talking about their direction in life, their vision for life. When we talked about what women prioritize, we talked about how they prioritize men's vision. Yes, man, woman, you need to prioritize the vision of the person you want to get involved with. Let me explain this way. This is the best way I like to explain it. Assuming that you are a person and you are going to Lagos or you are going to New York, and let's assume, okay, for those, I don't know. Okay, let me use countries so that in case you are watching this from different country, you can easily make sense to you. So let's assume from your country, just imagine it from your country, and maybe your spouse is in your country too. So I'll using Nigeria, for example. So for example, you are in Nigeria and you want to go to the US. But the person you want to get married to wants to go to the UK. You see that both of you will be moving in opposite direction. And moving in opposite direction will strain your marriage. I'm not talking, don't imagine this as per distant relationship or whatever. I'm talking about, imagine that your vision in life is taking you to the US. And your partners or the person you want to marry, their vision is taking them to UK. You see, and they are going to be based in UK for the rest of their life because that's their calling. That's where they are going to. That's their assignment. And your own is taking you to the US. Ask yourself that question. Can you have a long distance marriage for the rest of your life? Is that marriage? Do you think that's marriage? I get the fact that when it comes to traveling, like normal traveling, people can go to the US and the other person is Nigeria. But at the end of the day, what are you doing? You are trying to find a meeting point where both of you end up together. The plan is not to stay apart for the rest of your life. But here, your vision to go to the UK is taking you there for the rest of your life. And your vision to the other person's vision in the US is taking them for the rest of their life. So there is no meeting. There's no meeting point for both of you. That's the way it works. So because life is a journey and your relationship and marriage is a journey, you want somebody who is going on the same direction with you. So if your life vision, your life purpose is pushing you towards, for example, US, it might be that God has given you a calling. Remember, I'm using country and movement to explain this. I'm not saying that that's your vision to go to US or whatever. But imagine that the calling that God has upon your life, maybe he wants you to be a pastor, for example, or he wants you to be an evangelist. But the person that you want to get married to wants to be a stripper at a club. Do you think those two things can work together? Believe me and you, we know that it will not work. Or imagine that you are called to be maybe a banker or whatever. I don't know. You know what God is calling you to do. You know your assignment. You know what gives you fulfillment. But the person you want to get married to, their own calling is a direct opposite of it that contradicts what you are called to do. You see, it will not work. That's what I'm trying to say. That's why when I'm using country, I'm trying to make it easy for you to understand. So imagine it that way, that the vision you have doesn't align. That's why most people struggle in marriage. Now, let me bring it home for us. First of all, we know that the man usually, it's always the man. We're always like, oh, the man has the vision and she's the one leading. He's leading the home, he's leading the wife and all those stuff. And the woman is following and all those stuff. We get that idea, right? Now, let's look at it this way. And sometimes when we say it, it feels like women are not supposed to have visions or they are not supposed to have purpose. They're not supposed to have career or whatever. That's how some people make it look like. But that's not what it is. Because the Bible said God made Adam and Eve. God made Adam and he gave Adam an assignment. Adam has a vision and all those stuff. And then God made Eve and he told Adam, this is your helpmeet. That means Eve is coming to help Adam. But in some people's human understanding, Eve coming to help Adam means to them that Eve doesn't have an assignment or a purpose or whatever. She's just coming to sit down in the man's house and clean for the man, wash his plates, cook for him. No. Don't allow that to be the information you run with. No. As a man, you need to have a vision. And as a woman, you need to have a vision too. You have a purpose. Now, here is how it works. Your purpose as a man might be to do something. your purpose as a woman is to do something too. But this time around, your purpose as a woman has to be in alignment with the man's purpose. That means you are a helpmate. That means as a woman, you have help in you. There's a capacity in you. That's why most women get it wrong, in the sense that they have help in them, but they get involved with the wrong man, and the help they have in them can't help the man. It's just like, how do I put it now? How do I put it so that it makes it easy? It's just like, maybe I got injured, for example, and I need stitches or something, or maybe I need a specific doctor that will help perform a surgery on me. But then the doctor available is a doctor, but not specialized on that kind of surgery. You see, now there is a doctor around, but that doctor around cannot help me. But what I need is a doctor. So it's possible that there might be a doctor specialized in brain surgery, and the surgery I need is brain surgery. But then there's another doctor there who doesn't know anything about brain surgery. But both of them are still doctors. But then if the brain surgery doctor is not around, then the other doctor cannot perform a surgery on me, because he doesn't know, or she doesn't know what to do, even though the person is a doctor. So that's the thing. Some women get involved with men that the help they have in them, their purpose as a woman, cannot meet the need the man has. I don't know if this makes sense now. So as a man, he has his vision, he's running with his vision and all those stuff. You as a woman, you need to discover where your strength lies, your purpose as a woman. When you understand your purpose as a woman, then you're not looking for that man. You are positioned. You're not looking for that man that is going towards the direction in life that your help can help. So can the help you have as a woman help the man you want to get married to? Because that's the conflict. Because most women, they have good help in them. They have developed capacity. They are strong. They are ready. But they now get involved with a man who they cannot help. Now, this man is now telling them, this is the vision. I want you to stay at home, be a stay-at-home mom, be this, be that, be that, be that. But then, you as a woman, you know you are not, at least at the early age of your life, you don't want to be a stay-at-home mom and all those stuff. You see, now you are going to have conflict in that marriage. But then there's another man out there who doesn't want a stay-at-home mom at that moment. He wants a woman that he can build with, a woman he can go on trips with, go on conventions with, go on missionary with, and all those stuff before they start thinking about settling down or like having children and all those stuff. But then there's this other man who he wants just bam, come in, drop your professional career, be my wife, all those stuff. You get what I'm saying? So it's very, very important that you understand that your vision as a woman is very, very important too, because it will help you know the kind of man you should be looking for, or the kind of man you should settle down with. So this is why you also ask the man, what's your vision? Where are you going to? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What kind of wife are you looking for? What help do I? So that it's very, very important. Don't get involved with a man who doesn't know where he's going to. Because what you end up doing is that you get involved with him because love is shocking you now. You get involved with him. Then few years or few months down the line, he's telling you this is where God is telling me to go. And you now discover that you're already married. But then you cannot help him because you actually have help, but the help is not suitable for him. The Bible said a woman who is suitable, a helpmate is suitable for him. So there are men that you are suitable for, and there are men that you are not suitable for. This is very important. I know I'm repeating this way because it's very, very important. These are the core foundational things you should be prioritizing, and not some other things. I don't know, you will like prioritize it. So this is it. You understand what I'm saying? Then the next thing that I believe that we all should prioritize is the mindset of the person you want to get married to. Recently, I've started learning so much about the mindsets, because I discovered that the Bible he has said this thing a very long time ago, but it's becoming more real in our generation. It says, guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it flows the issue of life. It says, the heart of man is desperately wicked. There are so many passages in the Bible that talked about the mind, the heart. And the truth is that whoever we are in reality, whoever we are, whatever we do, is first conceived in our mind. If you can read a person's mind, or if you can understand how a person thinks, you already know 80 to 90% of what the person is capable of doing. I don't think there's anything anybody does, most times, at least to a greater extent, that wasn't first conceived in the mind before it was actually committed or done. So if you are able to, I'm not saying, I know we don't read minds, but if you're able to listen to people, you will be able to interpret their mindsets. That's why communication is very, very important. And when I'm talking about communication, I'm not talking about just small talks. I'm not talking about BBN, talking about just cars, or maybe I'm not talking about having shallow conversation. I'm talking about deep conversations about life. For example, for me, this recent Nigeria election and people that support different political parties and all those stuff, especially people that support APC, let me say it has given me an understanding of how those people kind of think. I don't know if you care whether it's good or bad, but it has shown me how some people think. So that way, I can easily make judgments. Yes, I'm not saying the person is bad, entirely bad, but it has given me how this person thinks about life, or how this person reasons about life. If you can have some of this mind-triggering conversation with people, you can uncover the way they think, how they reason. And when you can uncover the way people think and reason, it helps you to know the kind of person they are, or how they will react in similar events. You get what I'm saying? So the way you understand the mind of a man is by interacting with that man, not just on shallow situation, shallow conversation, but deep mind-triggering conversations. So that's why I advise people, don't allow shawarma and sitting in front of car to confuse you when you are getting to know somebody, or you want to get married to somebody. Have uncomfortable conversations. There are conversations that are uncomfortable. Yes, have those conversations. You need it. You need it to be able to understand how the person you want to spend the rest of your life think. Most things you think you need 5 years to learn, you can learn them under a few minutes of serious, uncomfortable conversations. That is the truth. So instead of trying so hard to spend 6 years to get to know somebody, learn how to have deep conversation. Learn how to have conversation that provoke their thoughts. Learn how to have conversation that will help you see how they reason. Critical thinking. You understand what I'm saying? That way you'll be able to avoid all these mistakes that people make when they get married. You know one thing about counseling, about counseling, is that counseling therapy, it helps you to reveal deep things that are hidden, that both of you might not even know that they are there. That's why I say most times, even if you have a good relationship, a healthy relationship, you still need counseling, you still need therapy, you still need coaching, because there are some things that once you fall in love, you don't see them. The red flags look like pink to you. You understand what I'm saying? So it's very, very important that you go for this counseling. Then the counselor who is not biased will help people dig out things that you need to deal with. A lot of people prepare for wedding. They buy the best clothes. They sew the best suits. They buy the biggest hall. But if you ask them to spend just a little money to get counseling, they won't. Which is actually the most important thing. So a lot of people prepare for wedding, but they never prepare for marriage. So I'm encouraging you today, listening to me right now, don't spend so much on your wedding and spend so little in getting prepared for the marriage. Go for counseling. Go for counseling. Go to somebody who will help you have those triggering conversations, those conversations that will trigger you, so that you deal, because a lot of people grew up with traumas that they are not talking about. So many men are traumatized, but they are not talking about it. So many women are traumatized, but they are not talking about it. And they only manifest it in marriage. So you need to have those conversations so that you understand what people are dealing with before you get involved with them in the name of marriage. So that you ask yourself, am I ready to deal with this thing? You understand what I'm saying? This thing is very, very important. It's very, very important. And I hope you are listening and you are understanding me right now. Because I don't want tomorrow to be reading admin hide my identity. Because actually the truth is that half of the admin hide my identity that I read are glaring issues that was existing in the relationship before they got married. Most people who their partner cheat on them in their marriage, their partner they were cheating on them when they were still dating. And it's not like they don't know. They knew that their partner was cheating and they forgave them and they continued. So you cannot tell me that some of these things are not seen during dating phase. People see them and ignore them. And when they get into marriage, they start feeling very uncomfortable. So I'm encouraging you right now. These are the important things you need to prioritize. Then after this thing I've talked about today, I know this video is already long. It's longer than I thought it would be. After these things, then you can now start prioritizing every other thing I talked in the previous episode. Prioritize this one, the person's faith, the fruit of the spirit, their vision in life, their core values, and this one I just talked about right now, their mindsets. Let these things guide you first of all. Then you can now start adding how much they earn, whether they are past, and all those stuff. It's very, very important. It's very, very important. So that you don't go about making mistakes that you could have avoided. Remember what I said, don't allow yourself to be the one that wants to take the route that was provided for somebody else when they already made a mistake. Follow the track that is set before you, that is the right track. Because a lot of people will still listen to me and do what they like. They will tell you, do you, don't listen to anybody. But I'm encouraging you, listen today so that you don't have to cry tomorrow. You can avoid that issue. You just have to listen and take the right direction that is set before you. So I hope you have learned from today's episode. I guess I got into the preaching. But then I believe that if you paid attention up to this point, you have learned something very interesting. And I hope that it blesses you. I hope after today's episode that it changes how you look at relationship and it helps you to actually do the right thing. So thank you very, very much for staying tuned up to this point. Remember to subscribe. Use the subscribe button below. Hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified. Also, share this video. If you enjoyed watching it, please like this video so that YouTube can promote this video. I know I'm just still coming back gradually, and hopefully we'll have another episode next week. And don't forget to subscribe to my podcast platforms. This is Relationship Talk Unfiltered Podcast. Search Apple Podcast, Spotify Podcast, Anchor Podcast. Other podcasts you will search there, you will find it and listen. And I will be leaving the links on my social media platforms so that you can share with your friends, or you can hit the share button here. I'll be doing so many things so that you guys can push this video out there. Thank you very, very much for staying tuned to this point. See you guys in the next video. Bye.